All right, so this is phase 2B, and just a reminder, you should be doing this in unison with phase 2A. And phase 2A is getting legalized, and basically, we talk about the Hagwon laws, and of course, these Hagwon laws are available on the Office of Education sites, but they're all in Korean. So basically, what I've done is I've translated them into English, at least the one for the Gangnam Education Office. And this is specifically for 교습소s, the small Hagwons that you could start. And basically, it's a translation plus my experience and plus my advice. So step one is preparing the necessary documents. And in this step, I share exactly what kind of documents you need, depending on your visa, and also details on things that are not really written in the Hagwon Law Handbook. There's a lot of things that are not written, and it's because the laws change and there's no one there to really update these handbooks. So a lot of these things you do have to double check with the Office of Education your Hagwon business is going to be located in, which could be a pain in the neck, but it's something that you have to do. Once you prepare the necessary documents, we talk about legalizing your space. This is very important. In this step, I basically was set back, a couple million won, plus I don't know how many hours I had to push back the opening day of my Hagwon. So this is a very important step in this phase. And I highlight this area for you so that you can make sure that you don't make the same mistake I made. And then we talk about your scheduling and pricing your classes, which is also very important. The type of schedule you make is very important, and you need to also do some research and find out what kind of Hagwons the students in your area are already attending, which could be difficult to find, but it's valuable information. You need to learn how to know what time, what grades finish their classes at school and stuff like that, and we talk about that, and we also talk about how much you can charge. And basically, here I have open the second stage, so let's go back to that. And as I said, I ask a lot of questions and I highlight and read some important stuff, and you should really read this so that you don't make the same mistakes I made. Anyways, back to the fourth step is submitting your documents. You need to actually go to the Office of Education and submit it in person, and then they inspect you. So someone from the Office of Education will come in person to actually measure your Hagwon and stuff like that, and to see that you meet all of the requirements. Once that happens, I talk about how you have to go to the tax office and register your official Hagwon as a business, and I talk a little bit about that. And then we talk about you getting a credit card or checking card machine. I talk about how much it costs, and it's why it's important to have one. And also step 8, which is optional, which is getting a business credit card, which will be very helpful for you if you have it. So when it comes to time for declaring your taxes and stuff like that, it'll be a lot easier. This step is important, but it shouldn't scare you off. I mean, there's a lot of laws that you need to know, but there's also a lot of laws that you may not need to really know. This phase is really important because for me, my biggest fear was not knowing the laws. But the good and bad thing about laws in Korea is that they change quite frequently, which is why you can be shown quite a bit of leniency if you do not meet some legal requirements here and there. some legal requirements are very important, like the size of your actual office space, and if your building actually can legally operate a business. But other smaller things, especially once you do get okayed as a Hagwon business, are not as, I guess, drastic if you didn't know about. For me, a couple years ago, I had a consulting business on the side where I help people make, websites or help them with their business. And there was a year where, the first year I didn't make any money, but I was supposed to declare that at the tax office or, somewhere online. And there was a fine, or I had to be punished or whatnot for not doing it. And I was really worried, but I didn't do it for some reason. And one day I got a call from someone from the tax office, and I was basically speaking in English, and then I tried to speak a little bit of Korean, and I definitely spoke Korean a lot worse than I could have. And the guy is like, "Hey, you didn't fill in your taxes and stuff like that." And I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know, and I really didn't know." And in the end, he's like, "Okay, so like, how much did you make?" And I'm like, "You know what? I didn't make any money on that business." So he's like, "Okay, next time, just make sure you do it." And then, yeah, he just asked me a few more questions after like 2 or 3 minutes. He hung up, and that was that. And that was my fear. I was afraid something was going to happen. Maybe they're going to deport me, or I'm going to go to jail. But for the most part, uh, you know, they're quite lenient on these types of things. So the lesson here is, this unknowingness, I don't know if that's a word, but not knowing certain laws or not knowing all the laws, that's normal. Most business people don't know all of the laws that they need to follow. And another example is the following year of that, and I still had that consulting business thing, but that following year I made some money, and I was supposed to, what's that word? I was supposed to report it. But they changed the law, and somehow they made it so that, if you make a certain amount, like less than a certain amount, or if you're like a really small business, you don't have to report stuff. So, laws are changing all the time. And the lesson from this is this fear shouldn't stop you from creating your dream lifestyle or creating your business so that you can have your own dream lifestyle. So keep going and don't give up, and I'll see you in phase 3.